Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question which is multiple service areas on Google My Business possible. And this is deleted now, but this question originally said that they have a client and they have one office location, but they're trying to figure out how to rank in different surrounding cities. There's about 4 or 5 different cities. And this is a common question. How do you rank in cities around your city if you only have a single location? How do you have multiple service areas? Because people are trying to come up in the map. Now, there is some bad news to this. If you're trying to come up in the map itself, uh, usually that's going to come down to physical location and to the person who's searching. So if you're searching for something, it's going to just be whatever's close to you. You can have different organic results for the different pages. So let's see if we can find a good example of this. All right, so if we're searching for HVAC contractor and I'm in Sacramento, closer to Elk Grove, you'll notice some stuff. At the top, there's the Google Home Services, then we have an ad for Home Advisor, and then we've got a map here. And this stuff, okay, so Bruceville Road, that's kind of South Sacramento. That's near where we're at. But you can see uh, these are different companies, but they're closer to where my location is right now. These are not the same things that you would see in Sacramento, and I'll show you that in a minute. But then we have the people also ask. Then we've got Yelp, we got Angie's List, and see it comes up with Elk Grove because again it's going by my location. And then we've got these different ones: Jaguar Heating and Air, Patterson Heating and Air, ACCA, definition of HVAC contractors. That's informational. Top rank. Okay. Um, Sierra Pacific. That seems like it's a local one. Home Advisor for Elk Grove, and then ads. Okay, so what was that? That was like 6 out of the 10 were actually local HVAC. But see what happens if I do HVAC contractor Sacramento. Okay, you'll probably see something very different. So again, we got the home ads and ad here, but see now it's totally different. It's different things come up in the map than it was here before. Before none of these were the same. And now instead of like Elk Grove, it's the Sacramento. And by the way, we're still kind of considered Sacramento, like where this particular address is, but it's kind of like the line right in between Sacramento and Elk Grove. So that can be kind of confusing. So again, we got a different result. Now it's totally different. We got Thumbtack, we got Home Advisor, HVAC.com, Angie's List, and Yelp are still the same, but it's a different landing page. Jaguar still comes up. Pacific Heat and Air, that's different. Porch, the 10 best HVAC companies, that's different. Premium air conditioning, that's different. Now we got YP.com, then we got ad. So out of these, the one thing that you'll notice when you have a city modifier, or at least in this case, not only is the map different, because now we're searching for a city that's not exactly near us, but if we use the generic term, it's just going to return a map that's like whatever's near us. And that's for any industry that's going to do that. But now the other thing that we notice in this particular instance, now that we added the city modifier, before we had Yelp and Angie's List up here, but this one is it's another. I'm guessing that this is another site where it's a marketplace type site. Okay, yep, and that's what it is. So you're finding a bunch of different ones. It's kind of like Thumbtack or something, or Angie's List, but just for HVAC. So that's 1, 2, 3 of these marketplace type multiple sites. Home Advisors 4, Thumbtack's 5. So that's our first actual HVAC, and that's the second one. So now we got porch, that's 6. We got our third actual HVAC right there, and then we got our 7th kind of list of stuff, 30 best. So with the city modifier, at least in this case, we had 7 different marketplace sites. And again, if you're trying to figure out how to rank for some of these things, go back and watch our video on piggyback SEO. Some people call it barnacle SEO, but basically you're trying to get as high as you can on pages like Yelp that are number 1 in the results, or Angie's List or Home Advisor, because you can get leads from there. But that's kind of the tactic. You see that there's only 3 actual HVACs in the organic results for this search for HVAC contractor Sacramento. But again, the map changes. So, and again, you can see, so that's add. And then we got organic results. Very interesting. But these are not some of the biggest. I will tell you something too. You might not know this, but these are not any of the biggest or most well-known actual HVACs in Sacramento. The ones that spring to mind are like none of these that I'm seeing so far, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's so none of those are the ones that I think of when I think of it, actual heating and air place. Okay, so back to this question. Multiple service areas on Google My Business, is it possible? What you're going to want to do instead is you're going to want to add specific service areas to your Google My Business. I'm going to show you that right now. Okay, so I feel most comfortable showing you my own stats. I do have clients that I manage as well. They're Google My Business, obviously. But let's just show you mine because that's just a nice, safe way to show you this. Okay, so what you're looking for is info on this left-hand side. So notice I got these different categories. These are the categories that I chose. But service areas. So, okay. So right now, let me show you something here. Okay, so cancel. I'm serving, so right now it's set to a radius. My service area is customers within 37 miles of my location. So the cutoff at the south is just short of Stockton. And the cutoff north, I think it's just shy of Yuba City, or I think it's in that area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear this out within 37 miles of my business. Now, if you are a legacy customer that has this radius thing, if you change this, you're not going to be able to put it back. You're going to be put into the new system. So what you're going to have to do is add in either zip codes, cities, or counties, or regions into your service area. And I'm going to show you that. So clear service areas, right? Okay. So now I'm going to add different ones. So we're going to say Sacramento. We'll say Sacramento County. We'll say Sacramento. We'll say all the different cities that are in this area, right? So we'll add them all in here. Where else? Rancho Cordova. We'll say Folsom. We'll just add all the different cities that spring to mind. Okay, so that's a fair number. We'll add all those different ones in there. So now we've got, okay, so now we've added a bunch of different cities and areas to our service area. So now Google would know that, and it's pending. So that's one step that you can do to have different service areas in Google My Business. All right. So the other thing that you would want to do is have different landing pages for each of the cities. Now I have this listed as a service, but you could definitely, and you probably should list this as a location, or just a straight landing page for whatever it is that you do. Now on my particular page, for this page, one of the things I do list the different breakdowns of the different services that you have for that particular city. Maybe add like any reviews or any awards or anything like that. Maybe have a video like this. And then if you have different case studies or links to case studies, that might be a good thing to have. And then you want to have a contact form. So anything like that, you would want to do different landing pages for different cities. And I will show you an example of that in another example that's not my site, of how you can have a landing page for a city that ranks really high. Okay, so in this scenario, we're Googling Folsom, California BMW repair, and you'll see some stuff that comes up in the map. And again, like I said, if you're based in a city that's like 40 miles away from where you're trying to rank, you're not going to show up in the map. That's just the reality of what's going to happen. But you can show up in organic. And I'll show you a case of this. So 1, 2, 3. This fourth result, BMW service repair in Folsom, California, Ryan GMW. Now this particular site, they do pretty well with having landing pages that are not for the city that they're located in. So for those of you who are familiar with the Sacramento Valley and Northern California, Central California, you'll know that Auburn it's up the hill from Sacramento. Sacramento's down the valley, Auburn's up the hill a little bit. But what they have is they have a landing page for Auburn, BMW and German auto care repair. And so they have this title that says BMW Service Repair in Folsom. They have a coupon, video, all this different stuff. All this good descriptive text and photos of the staff and all these things. All these things are fine. How many times did they mention Folsom in the page? Let's see this. So they mention it. I don't know if you can really see this. It's 3 out of 5 times. So it's 1, 2, 3. Well, that's in the map, and that's in the title. So really just 4 times in the actual basic text of the page, but 2 of those are right up near the top. Here's this, scheduling. That's just an image, by the way. Here's some of their amenities that they have in their actual shop: free Wi-Fi, shuttle service, all that. But in a quote, and again, this is a good thing to have if you have reviews or quotes from actual people from that city that you helped people in, that is not the location where you're actually at. That could be useful. But here's what they have. They have a map with directions from Folsom over to their location in Auburn. And that is a total of, how many miles is that? It looks like it's about 25 miles away. So they actually rank number 4 for this, for having a landing page for the actual city that's 25 miles away from their location. So I think they have a couple other ones like that on this site. So that might be a good idea for you to do if you're trying to rank for multiple service areas. But no, it's very unlikely that you're going to rank in the map for things that you're far away from, unless there's almost no competition for the thing that you're trying to rank for that search term. Now, if there's little to no competition, then the likelihood is greater that the distance in the map will cover is going to increase, but otherwise it's probably not. Let's see what these other people said. Okay, so, and this person says, unless you have staffed offices in those cities, you cannot create separate Google My Businesses for those cities, if that's what you're asking. And that is correct. You cannot create separate Google My Business listings with addresses unless you have an office or some sort of corporate office or a shop or something like that. Now, adding city pages on the website with Scamo schema, structured data would be a good idea. Also getting the cities on your Google My Business in the description. Creating posts talking about doing jobs in the different cities would be good. And we looked at a couple examples of that, but not sure how you're going to list the best city for them. You need to use their postal address, and wherever that is, that's where the listing will be. You don't have to show your Google My Business address nowadays, though. Just choose not to display your address to customers. Google will know what your location is, but the customers won't see it. Now, most of the time where I see people do that is if they're like me, like they work from home or they have a home office. Maybe they're like another website designer. The other times where I kind of see that is where it's a smaller contractor, like it could be a painter, it could be like a small HVAC or a handyman or something like that. And they only have a home address, and they don't want people to know what their home address is, but they want to list it so they can have a Google My Business. So that's the other case where I see people hide their physical address. So I hope that gives you some ideas on how to have multiple service areas in Google My Business. Again, you can't create locations if you don't have an actual office or an actual location. And it's unlikely that you're going to rank in the map. But one thing that you can do is list the actual zip codes and service areas, and you can do counties or regions or whatever it has to be in order to put that in Google My Business. But the other thing that you can do is create specific landing pages, city-specific landing pages for those things. And I hope that's given you some ideas. My name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO. I'm here every single day making videos on SEO. And I will see you next time. Peace.